Coach Brian from CrossFit Princeton. We're going to go over the workouts and the movement standards for the workouts for barbells for backflips. Hopefully this will clear up some of the questions that you guys have to make competition day run a whole lot smoothly. So workout 1 is going to be 13 minutes. 0 to 5 minutes, teammate 1 is going to get a 1 rep max snatch. The teammates can help, the 2 teammates will help teammate 1 load or unload the bar, and you can get as many attempts as you need to. It can be a power snatch, it can be a squat snatch, either one is acceptable. But only 1 teammate working at the time, your other 2 teammates are going to be helping you out. At the end of 5 minutes, from 5 to 10 minutes, teammate 2 is going to get a 5 rep max front squat from the floor. So the barbell is going to start on the floor, and again, for the transition from the snatch into the front squat, the teammates need to work together to get the bar on the ground, get the bar loaded with the appropriate weight for teammate 2 to start their attempts at a 5 rep max front squat. You can take as many attempts as you need to, but you have to complete all 5 reps before it counts as a score. Now you can move up or back down in weight. It doesn't matter if you try a weight and fail it, then you can take weight off the bar, just however you have to get it done in the 5 minutes. Same way with the snatch, you can move up or back in weight. At the 10-minute mark, teammate 2 is done. Teammate 3 has from 10 to the 13-minute mark to complete as many handstand push-ups as they can complete. These can be kipping, they can be strict, doesn't matter. Just the handstand push-up has to start in a locked out position with the arms overhead. If you get up on the wall and your head is on the ground, you have to lock out first and then start before your reps begin to count. If your head is on the ground and you press out, that rep will not count as your first rep. So, all right, so I'm going to have Charlene demo a couple of good snatches. Again, it can be squat snatch or power snatch. If you would do a power snatch for me. The only standard is you have to get the barbell from ground to overhead and lock your hips completely out. Do one more good one. Hips locked out. So also a squat snatch would be acceptable, and same standards. You pass through a full squat, then stand all the way up. The hips have to finish locked out. So good rep. So what a no rep would consist of would be if you do a power snatch or a squat snatch and your hips would not lock out. Then one like that. And then drop the bar. If you drop the bar before her hips completely locked out, then that would be a no rep. Also a no rep is going to be a snatch press. So if you get the weight halfway up and stop and have to work on pressing it out, that will be a no rep. You have to be in complete lockout when you hit the bottom of either your power or your squat. So to show us a snatch press, that would be a no rep. That will be considered a no rep once you locked out over top. So that is movement 1, ground to overhead, power snatch or squat snatch. Just be sure you lock out at the top and no snatch press. Okay, so movement 2 is going to be the 5 rep max front squat from the floor. So again, you can squat clean your first rep, and that will count as your first rep, or you can power clean the weight. Then you have to do 5 reps after your power clean. So I'm going to have Heather demo a squat snatch into her first, or a squat clean into her first rep, and then do a couple more front squats after that. That will be your first rep. And 2. Okay, go ahead and set the bar. So squat clean was her first rep, and then she would have went on to get her 5 rep max. You can also power clean and go into your front squat, but your power clean will not be your first rep, so demo one of those. And then again, hips have to lock completely out at the top. You can go ahead and set down for a second. So her reps are started after the power clean. You have to lock out and show control at the top. Be sure your hips and knees are locked out. And Heather, do us a no rep. A no rep will be first one will be depth. If your hips do not go low enough and the crease of the hip isn't below the knee, that would be a no rep. So the next no rep will be not locking out at the top. So if she comes all the way up and her hips stay back, then that would be a no rep. Good job. Okay, that's exercise number 2. Okay, so exercise number 3 is going to be a handstand push-up. This can either be a kipping or a strict handstand push-up. Either one is acceptable, but you must lock your arms out at the top. Your reps start when you turn up on the wall and your arms are locked out. If your head is on the mat when you turn up on the wall, then you'll have to do 1 rep before your reps start. So you have to start locked out before your reps start counting. I'm going to have Dale do a couple of reps that are going to be an example of a good rep. So if you would, start out with a strict rep first. He's going to start out arms locked out all the way up on the wall. He's going to do 1 or 2 strict handstand push-ups with full lockout. So go ahead and do a couple of things. His feet are staying in contact with the wall at the lockout. Good. Go ahead and come on. His feet are staying in contact with the wall at lockout, and his elbows are completely locked out, and he started with arms locked out on the wall. So now I'm going to have him do a couple of kipping push-ups, or kipping handstand push-ups that are also acceptable. Just do a couple, Dale. Just hop up. So he's starting in the locked out position. Come down, kip. Feet end up on the wall at the end of the rep with arms locked out. That's also a good rep. Good exercise. So those are both examples of good reps. Again, you have to start in a locked out position, and kipping or strict is acceptable. What would be considered a no rep is if you don't lock out all the way at the top. They'll do an example of one of those for you. Any way you can, I don't care, just any way you can't lock out. That'll be example, a pretty extreme example, but even if you get up all the way and arms are still bent, then that's going to be a no rep. So that is the end of walking. Okay, the scaled version for lots 1, 2, and 3, getting ready to go over. There's not a whole lot of changes, so the workouts will be pretty close, but there are a couple changes. Workout one definitely has the biggest change. Instead of a 1 rep max snatch, the scaled teammates will do a 1 rep max deadlift. Teammate 2 will get a 5 rep max front squat from the racks, not from the floor. So it'll be up to the teammates to get the bar up to the racks, and then teammate 2 get their 5 rep max coming off the rack. And then instead of handstand push-ups, it's going to be a max effort strict press at either 65 pounds or 45 pounds. So, and that's going to come off the floor. So you're just going to pick it up and do as many strict reps from shoulder to overhead as possible. Okay, the teammate 1 is going to get a 1 rep max deadlift. The deadlift, floor to standing, your hips and knees must be locked out, and if you hitch on the way up, that's fine. A no rep would be if you rest the bar on your knees before you stand up and lock out. That would be a no rep, but hitching will be fine just as long as the bar stays moving. So Heather, just show me a good rep on a deadlift. Lock it completely out at the top. You can drop at the top. You don't have to ride the bar down, and again, your partners can change the weight for you and help you add weight. You can move up or back in weight, so if you fail an attempt and want to move back in weight, that's completely fine. Heather, do a bad rep. Do one where you don't lock out all the way. That'll be a no rep. She's not locking out. And also another rep. Stop at the top of the knee, kind of rest the bar there, and then stand up with it. That would also be a no rep. You want the bar. Hitching's fine, but If you rest the bar on your knees, that's going to cut your rep off right there, so it'll be no rep. Okay, instead of handstand push-ups, the third movement is going to be a strict press. It is going to come off the floor, weights 65, 45, but once the weight gets to shoulders, no dip drive, no moving other than the arms. So Heather, if you would do a good example of a strict press for me. Starts touching the shoulders, the bar is completely locked out at the top. So resting in the front rack. Example of a no rep would be if you dip drive and do a little bit of a push press. That would be a no rep. Okay, and do one where you don't lock it at the top. That would also be a no rep. And also, if you finish with the bar out in front of you and you leaned all the way back, that would also be a no rep. You have to finish arms even with your ears and barbell directly overhead.